We're live. Hello, everyone. It's Jerry Ann. Come on and get your seat. Pull up a chair. Get your tea. Y'all drink tea? I'm glad to see you. I drink tea all the time. So, on occasion, I do have other beverages, but mostly it's tea. Okay. We're glad everybody is here. Thank you for joining. I have polka dots on my shirt. I didn't realize I had so many polka dots on my shirt. That's right in the camera, isn't it? Okay, oh look, they're gathering in. Hey, as y'all arrive, will you say hey so I can say hello right back to you? Ouch. I see you. Hey, Pat, I'm glad you're here. Who else is here? Doug is here. I'm here. As we're gathering up, that's so exciting. I loved it when y'all show up on Monday evenings. We have a fun thing going on tonight. Hey, Renee, how are you today? It's good to see you. Y'all, she's my second cousin. Isn't that fun? I know, we have family everywhere. Nita Brown is here. Hello, Nita Brown. Thank you for joining. I really appreciate all y'all joining as you come in. If you want to just put a little comment. Hey, Kathy. Oh, I'm so glad you're here. So as you just say hey so we can do a shout out for you. Let me tell you what we're going to do tonight. I had a real busy day running some errands and delivering and just, I don't know what all I was doing. But anyway, so I decided on the way home from my last errand I was out running that tonight's thing is going to be all about charity quilts. And you can pick up some tips and some hints and some ideas from, I'm going to do a trunk show of some that we have collected so far this year. So I'm going to show you those and we're going to talk about them. This one hanging behind me is one, so I want you to, and I didn't make it. I don't even know if I quilted it. I don't think I even quilted it. So we have quilters that, other quilters too that do it. So I'm going to be showing you things that have come into our organization, but you'll maybe pick up something fun. So Catherine is here. Hey, Catherine. And Linda's here. Hey, Linda. I'm so glad y'all are here. So as always, I prayed for you guys. I prayed for your well-being. I prayed for your health. I prayed for your wealth and your peace and your prosperity. I asked the Lord to bless each one of you today and every day as we go forward. So know that I keep y'all in my prayers, and I never know who's going to be on here, but but it doesn't matter. The Lord knows. So I have asked for blessings over each of you, and I will continue to do so. So to start off tonight, I'm going to talk about the charity quilts in a minute, but I want to tell you a true story. The true story is the life of a quilter. This is the way I see it. So in the beginning, when we first learned to quilt, whether we are 12 or whether we are 22 or whether we are 62, doesn't matter. Whenever we start, and in my case, I knew how to sew from like middle school home ec. But after that, I just did Halloween costumes and balances and, those kinds of things. So nothing big deal, just kind of home, things I needed at home. But when I started learning to quilt, I got into learning how to quilt and really doing a lot of sewing to catch up on, to learn the skill of doing it. And in the process of doing that, at some point you're like, okay, I made a quilt for my husband, I made a quilt for my daughter, I made a quilt for my grandson. And you make quilts for everybody in your family, or most everybody in your family. And you give them away, and then you move to the next, what I call the next tier. So the next tier is you give them to your nieces and nephews, right? Or you start giving them for events. So if there's a birth or a wedding or a graduation or whatever. And so that's what happens. And at some point, if you do this a lot and you really get hooked, which most people do, at some point you decide You don't even have one for yourself. So then you say, okay, I'm going to make one for myself. And it takes you longer to figure out what you want to do for yourself than it does for anybody else. It's easier, I have found, to make quilts for other people. You kind of can figure out, like their colors that they like, and you can figure that out. It seems easier. But at some point down the road, you decide that, you know what, I'm a maker, and I want to continue making, but there's really nobody needs another quilt. In fact, my children said, Mom, don't make us any more quilts. I said, really? They said, yes. So, and at some point, I think the Lord will tug on your heartstrings, and he'll say, that little boy that needed the quilt at Christmas, the Salvation Army Angel Tree kid, Josiah, that heartstring the Lord pulled and said, will he be warm this winter? And I'm like, I have no idea. I guess not, if you're asking me. So then you start making for others, and that's when you move into charity or donation quilting. So I want to talk to you. That's what we've done, and I know tons of people who've done it that way too. Like across the whole quilting spectrum. Eventually you get into charity quilting. A lot of people do. So when you're trying to decide then what you're going to do for the kids, for who you're going to give quilts to, of course you have to listen to your heart. Some people are automatically, I have a friend named Connie who her heart is all about providing quilts for the hospice facility that we have in town that has an in-bed facility, right? So they have volunteers that go out to the homes, but they also have an in-bed facility for those families in the last days of their loved ones' lives. That is her heart. The Lord just really softens her there, and she is so she so gravitates to that. So that's wonderful. In our group, we started the Christian Quilt Guild, and Nita's on the line tonight. And Nita said, I said to Nita, we need to do this, and she said, great, I don't know how to quilt. I said, you'll learn. Nita and I started doing it in 2017. Well, the first thing we did was we tackled the kids' quilts because of the Salvation Army Angel Tree. You see, when they get a quilt, at least in our hometown, a quilt is valued at the same amount that a bicycle is valued, like $150 or something. And so they allocate those across families. So every kid in one family, if they get a quilt, if one kid gets one, they all get one. And if one kid in another family gets a bicycle, every kid in the family gets a bicycle. So they're very careful about that. But they value them very highly because they are, we make them for the kids. So that was where we started. And then we started going and actually holding our meetings at the hospice facility. Well, therefore, we're at hospice. They're allowing us to use their meeting room. And it was lovely. And they were so kind to us and so good. Of course, COVID changed everything. Y'all know that. But that's when we decided we wanted to make quilts for hospice to show our appreciation. And they literally lay these quilts on the hospital beds. And so when a new family is brought in, a new family member is brought in, they are greeted with a quilt on their bed. So, which is lovely, right? It's just kind of homey in those rooms in the last days of their lives. And so I don't have any hospice quilts to show you. We have given them all away. But here I will tell you. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to tell you about sizes. In our organization, we do not have hard and fast rules about that at all, sizes. But hospice is the most specific about what size. And they need them to be 55 inches wide, so there's not a lot of drop over the edge, for the hospital beds. And then 95 inches long, so that they can tuck it up under and, over the end. So it's an odd shape. It's I don't remember the size off the top of my head of a twin, but a twin is much wider. So it's not a normal size, so it's a hospital bed size. So we have a thing in our world called ish. So I'm going to give you some sizes, but I want you to know these are ish sizes. And y'all know what ish means, right? It means about, not exactly, nearly, approximately. And it stands for it's somewhere hereabout. Can you see this? Mm-hmm. Okay. So now I'm going to show you the sizes that we generally aim toward ish. And these are like smallest ish. So we divide them into, is this a good angle? You have to help me here.
You're fine.
Okay.
I'll come to you.
All right. So preschool, and I'm talking baby to 4 years old. We do somewhere in the around 40 by 40. Whoops, see that? About 40 by 40. So think a little over a yard, you know, about a yard or something. It never has to be square. If it's 33 by 38, that's fine. Y'all hear what I say? It's not critical. Elementary is about 40 by 50 inches. If it's 28 by 40, it's not quite big enough, right? So you need borders on the side. If it's late elementary, and I'm talking 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th grade, we want them to be 50 by 60. Ish. I'm telling y'all, ish. For adults, we're aiming at about 60 by 60. We do throws. We do not ever, when we're doing charity quilts, we do not go for bed size. Bedrooms and bedspreads are home decor, and that's not why we're making quilts. We're making quilts as comforts to wrap around them when they're watching TV or when they need consoling or when they're laying on the bed. And then, of course, in the winter, if they get cold, especially the children, as another layer. But we are not into home decor. That's not why we're doing it, so we don't play with that. Hospital bed, I already told you, 55 by 95. And then the backs. So the backs, what we do is we have long arm quilters quilt them. So whatever size it is, let's pretend that you made one that's 40 by 50. Your back would need to be 48 by 58. You just add 8 inches to each of those. That allows the long armers to get it on our machines and strap it down in that 4 inches margin all the way around, 4 on this side, 4 on this side, allows us to clamp it down and hold it taut. So if you need if you need this again, hey Ann, hey Tammy, so glad y'all are here. So if you need these numbers, in fact, maybe I can figure out a way to put these numbers in the comments. Okay, now for a little show and tell, because that's mainly what we're doing tonight. Okay, real quick, normally we do cotton, 100% cotton across the board. And I meant to bring my cotton testing kit with me, and I forgot. So I won't. But let me show you what we have right here. This is I didn't make this. I didn't even quilt it, and it is adorable. It is simply squares, right? So there are 1, 2, 3, 4 fabrics. Just 4 fabrics involved here. But they all color coordinate. And a 2-tone back, the purple and the beige. And I will tell y'all that all of this is a seersucker and it's polyester. All of these fabrics are polyester. So the rule, or the general rule, is we use cotton, cotton, cotton. But if someone has polyester and they want to use like a seersucker that has some blend, what we say is use the same on the front and the back, because cotton may shrink where poly will not. And if you have those two tugging against each other, you're going to get rips. So anyway, this is just a real simple, I was going to measure it for you. So this is 38 by 38. So that is somewhere around 40 by 40, right? So that would go in our like early or preschool. It's preschool size. Okay. Next on the list we have, hey Kathy, are you here? Hi Mike. Okay, my friend Kathy made this quilt, and I just quilted it. I hope, Kathy, are you okay with me showing your quilt? She hasn't seen it quilted, y'all, so look how adorable. Okay, can you see it? Do I have it good? Yeah. Okay, isn't this cute? So this is a little googly-eyed sort of stuffed monster thing. I don't know. And some little, these look like little lollipops, and this is just a little, that same little character in the teal. And all of these, y'all, every single block is a half square triangle. So it's a square, but half of it is triangle, right? So it's two triangles. They're all that way. It's just how they're laid out. She's done it in the stripes, which is super cute. And some kid is going to absolutely love this. Bright colors, lots of fun things to look at, you know, lines to follow, just things to see. So this is a great kids quilt. It's 43 long, about 52 wide. So that's going to be an elementary size. Do you see that? Do I need to get something to prop this up with, babe? Like that? Okay. So this is going to be a great elementary size. And it's just cute as it can be. And then she widened the back by putting the strip down the middle. Super cute. This is how we use up our... Oh, let me show you something else. So after I get it off the machine, that 4 inches that goes all the way around, I trim off. And this is what's left. And we cut these into the 2.5-inch strips, and that makes the binding. So I always save the excess, and then that we can use that as the binding all the way around this little quilt. Okay. Betty, are you on? Betty, are you here? Y'all, look what Betty did. Betty is this in the way? I need to know that I need
You're fine.
Okay. So Betty just brought this one. The Power of a Panel. Now look at that. Isn't that darling? Okay, this is the leftover. So this is what she can use for the binding should she want to. On donation quilts, I generally do. Let me see. This is the panel out here. And then she added one more border on the outside to pull in this black along, you know, that's spotted through here. And then it's quilted. So this is a, you know, this is with making a back. Let me see what the back. The back is a one whole piece. With making the back, this is probably an hour's worth of work for a donation quilt. And just think about the kid that's going to get this. How are they going to feel? So that's 42 by 49. And so that's perfect. It fits right into the, you know, the guidelines. Like I say, it's ish. So this will be perfect for a kid. The Salvation Army will know. Now, there are other groups, too, that need them. The Child Advocacy Center here in town, and then there is a group called the Fostering Collective that also have, they take care of the families that have foster children, and then they help the foster children with needs that they have. And so we're trying to work it up so that we can have enough to give both of those excellent organizations also. So, there's never a time that there will be enough quilts. I'm just telling y'all, there's just never, ever a time. Okay. So last month I was it last month? No, this is April. It was this month. Sorry. I'm off. I'm off. Um the beginning of April at the Christian Quilt Guild here in Tyler, I'm teaching beginning quilting. I've been teaching it. And this month we talked about, what did we talk about? It wasn't strips, was it?
Yeah.
It was. Yes. Okay. Sorry, y'all. I just went blank. And it's a lot of new beginner quilters. And so what I did was I made kits. I found a panel back in my closet that had been there for years that I had been wanting to make for a donation quilt. I just am quilting a bunch of them and running, and so I haven't gotten to it. And I thought, well, this is a good time. So what I did was I created a kit for every player that was there on that class day. And each kit had a block from the panel and then strips. And I had all 12 people, I asked them if they would attach the strips. And I think we did the sides first and then across the top and the bottom. Just to give everybody a little bit of sewing time, talk about questions they had just kind of as a warm-up exercise. Well, it ended up we had 12 blocks ready. And this weekend I decided, because I was so excited, because I've been wanting to do this I probably have had this panel for 5 years and I've just been not getting to it, right? So this is out of the 12 blocks, these are 6. Look what I did. Okay. So, can you see these cute look at this. This little girl and the chickens, she dropped an egg. And this is the little boy and the goat is drinking and spilling the milk. They are playing with kittens. She's in the hay and there's a bunny rabbit and the little horse. I think it's super cute. And what I had my class do is put these borders on. And then I just took 6 of the blocks, put them together, and then I added a border. 6-inch border. I added a 6-inch border around it. And look. It's 48 inches long by almost 40 inches tall. So about 40 by 50. See how the sizes kind of go? So that's what I was doing. If I had needed it to be bigger, if it was a different panel or whatever, I could have added more borders. So one of my points is when you're doing quilts for others, especially children, you can do very, very quick ones if you just do something simple like this. All right. The other 6 blocks, I didn't have enough of that fabric. It was donation fabric. So I did the other 6 blocks. And a woman named Julie from Arlington sent us a box of fabric that was a donation, and of course we take it. And as I was unboxing what she sent, I saw this, and I thought, well, now that'll work. So I did it this way. Look. So this is that little boy with the goat, and this is the little horse, and this is the little bunny rabbit. And then I thought there were 2 of these. I think there were 2 of these. I think there was the lamb was on the other one, but this one was different. But do y'all think that's a cute panel? Hey, Kimberly, how are you, sweetie? Do y'all think this is cute? Do you think some kid somewhere is going to like this? It's an elementary age little quilt. Okay. Let me see what's next. Okay, so this week we're teaching about squares, simply squares, the class this coming Saturday. And if you happen to be in the Tyler, Smith County, I don't know, East Texas area, we have room in the class if you want to join us. We're going to be talking about simply squares, and I'm going to be showing a lot of different things that you can do with just squares. So we were given some bolts of fabric that everybody looks at and goes, I'm telling y'all, this is the truth. They go, huh. And then they move on. They never take this fabric, and it's almost like this ugly duckling fabric. And so I decided that I was just going to cut it into squares, and I did this in 20 minutes. I cut it into 10-inch squares, and today, from 4:10 until 4:30, this is what I did. Now, it's just the top. And the fabrics that nobody would take are these two. It's almost, I mean, you know, like they're from, I think the Bolt said it was 2013 when these came out. So these are 7 or 8 years old, but they've never been used, and they're brand new on the on the Bolt. Well, I threw in a pink because I wanted something else to go with it. So now all I did, that is 16 squares. Y'all, that's just, I mean, literally, you sew these two together and these two together and then that together, and there's your whole row. And it didn't take any time at all. Now, what I will do before I finish this is I will make it larger. But one of the things I do is I get the thing up here, and this is a square. So this is 38 by 38, and these colors, you see how this would not, an older child would probably like this. So I need it to be more like 50 by 60, and right now it's under 40 by 40. So I need to add 10 inches, probably all the way around it, to get it to the size of an older elementary age kid. Well, that's 38. Did I say that right?
Yeah, about 10 inches.
It's about 40, and we need it to be about 50 or 55, something like that. So what I probably would do is 8 inches, 8 inches, 8 inches, 8 inches of a solid border around it, and call it done. So, and then quilt it up. But see how quick that goes? Now, some girl somewhere that needs a quilt might like it. That's our prayer always, right? Okay. Then, look, y'all, here are the bolts. See how much fabric's on there? So we have to get real creative. I mean, there's a lot of fabric here. This bolt originally had 15 yards, and this one had 15 yards. So we have a lot of fabric, so we'll be thinking of lots of things to do with these coming. Okay, we also take care of women who are in a group, or we partner with a group called And Then There Were None. Now, these are women who have just left, well, a lot of them. The ones we work with, we don't know these people, so let me back up. The ones we make quilts for and give to the group, and then the group distributes them, the group is called And Then There Were None. These are women who have just exited the abortion industry. So they're leaving the abortion industry. They're dealing with all the pain and the grief and the remorse and the weight, the heaviness of what they've done as a career, and they're in the healing process. And so we've partnered with a ministry, and they do a retreat, and they invite 6 to 8 at a time down to Central Texas, north of Austin, and they love on them for the weekend, and whatever. And we sent 6 quilts today. And they're having a retreat next weekend. So each woman will get a quilt to wrap around them during that healing process. So That's always a good thing. Now, I don't remember who made this one, but a lot of times we make quilts for adults. And I don't know if I can make it stay. It's heavy. All right, I think I got it. Okay. These are just squares. I was wondering how big they are. They were cut at 4.5 inches and they finish out at 4. But look at this. All of those, this is what I love. I love this quilt. Let me tell you why. Every single one of these is just a different floral fabric. It's just a small little print that's floral somehow, right? And they're all just mixed up. It's very, very scrappy. And then it has this green border and then a small floral border around that. This makes me want to pull out all my floral fabrics and do a quilt like this. If I were cutting the squares, I would not do a 4x4 just because I would do probably 5x5. Just, I don't know. But maybe I should stick with this size because I love it so much. But this just looks warm and cozy to me. And so this will go to an adult at some point. And you can tell this is much longer and much bigger than a kid's quilt. Now, it could be a teenager's quilt, but I suspect we'll keep it for the women that we serve. Okay. Now, another thing we do is veterans quilts. So, when I say veterans quilts, I'm talking about we have a veterans home here in town that we have given, like, they have cottages, and we gave quilts to them. And then now we're working with the Texas Wounded Warrior Foundation that is based here in Tyler. Who knew? And we're hoping to have about 25 quilts ready for their October big thing that they have here in Tyler. It's a big golf tournament, and they honor about 25 different wounded warriors, and it's a fundraiser. So we hope to have that ready for them by then. We love our veterans. All these have all been packed away. So this is that in the class that we had a couple months ago. We did a log cabin. So let me show you what a log cabin is. This is the log cabin. Right here. And it always starts in the center. Let me see if I can hold this. And then you add a strip to each side and you circle around and make it bigger and bigger and bigger all the way around. So that's a log cabin quilt. So when we do veterans quilts, or really we should be calling them patriotic quilts probably, but you know, because we give them to veterans, we call them that. We tend to do red, white, and blue. Some form or fashion of red, white, and blue. This is a block, a small border, and a large border. You want these? I'll give them to you. Okay. Now this one, a friend brought this over and she said, hey, Donna, oh, thank you, Kathy. A friend brought this over and said, she said something funny. Let me put this up for you and then I'll show you. There's a right way and a wrong way. You know how that is? Some fabrics are directional. Okay. Now, how's that for darling? Isn't that fun? So it's got Land of the Free and Old Glory. And she said this, I forget now what she said, but when she said it, I said, oh, we call that a cheater quilt. She called it something else, but whatever it was, because the whole fabric, this is not pieced, It's all one fabric, so it's printed this way. She did add 2 borders, but y'all, I can't tell, and I'm not sure anybody else is going to tell, and I'm not sure anybody's going to care. Veterans are so touched. A lot of the men that we give these quilts to are the older veterans, right? And a lot of them were in Vietnam, and they were not appreciated when they got home. And so now they're getting quilts for the first, to honor their service, and they're just beyond ecstatic that they're getting this. So I think it's a lovely quilt, and you can tell it's even bigger. So it's a throw size. We want them to be able to sit, in their chairs or whatever. And I'm gonna throw that at my folding department. He's not
stacking.
He's not folding. What are we saying? I thought he was folding. Oh, he is. Thank you, dear. Okay, now this is a really big one. And I love this one. And it's got an up and a down. Let me see. Yeah, here. Now, oh gosh. Did it stay? Okay, this one reaches all the way to the floor. So this one is taller than I am, and I'm 63 inches. So this is probably close to 72 inches tall. Maybe. I don't know. I can't tell. But anyway, it's 68 inches or something. It's taller than me. And it's wide. And you can see it's got a lot of, this is Army. Oh, all the fabric on it has to do with Army. So what will happen is, when we give it to the organization will then pick someone that had service in the Army and give this one to. But isn't that lovely? I love it. I just think it's neat, and it's bright, and it's colorful, and it's very patriotic. And I think some veteran will be so happy to have this. And then a red back. So we're excited. I like this one a lot. And gray is a big color that gets added in a lot. Okay. Y'all know the bigger they are, the heavier they are. Okay. So, here's a funny story. I was out on, I do this a lot, Facebook Marketplace, and I have an alert set up so that if there's a quilt top that's unfinished, that'll tell me, and sometimes I buy them. But I was looking for something else, and I came across this quilt, and this quilt was for sale on Facebook Marketplace. I think Doug went and got this one, didn't you?
I did.
And it was $20. And I just want y'all to know, for $20, and it is very, very well done. Look at all those nice points. I'm telling y'all, that's work. And not only that, all of this is hand quilted. All of this is hand quilted. I say that. It looks hand quilted to me, but it's almost too perfect, so I'd have to rethink that. But we're going to say that I bought this for a veteran quilt. Even though it is smaller, I think even so, it's lovely, so it'll be good. Okay, are y'all getting bored? Okay, one more, and then we'll be done. Okay, I have a little friend. That's not what I thought it was. Never mind. I have here's how to use your scraps. If you are looking for a great place to use your scraps, this is an option. And my girlfriend brought this. I thought I was going to just melt. Look what she did. all of these are scraps, and she just cut them into bricks. You know, it's what we call bricks, and put them together out of leftovers. Is that cute? I just love this. And so she used this as her focal fabric, went darker, blended, just pulled the different colors and did that. So here's the deal. If you ever decide that you want to start doing charity quilts and you don't have a place to give them, I will help you find some place to give them. You can, there's got to be people near you. If you decide you want to do this, if the Lord starts pulling on your heart and you decide that you want to start giving them away, all I did, that happened to me, and I called the Salvation Army locally and said, for your Angel Tree program, if I make quilts, would y'all use them? And they were like, oh, would we ever? There are plenty of organizations. If you need help, I will certainly help you find somewhere to give them. Shipping them, if we live close by, if you ever wanted to ship them, I could give them away. But shipping is so expensive these days. We sent 6 today, and it was like $35 or something. $25 to ship it just halfway across, you know, like to Austin. So anyway, I would encourage you. The other thing I would say is if you have quilting buddies that y'all want to use up your scraps or just bless anybody, there are no quotas. Remember that. Nobody has in any of our stuff that we do, there are no obligations. Sure, we set goals that we want 25 patriotic quilts so that we can give them to the 25 guys I'm assuming they're guys. It could be wounded warriors that are female, but y'all know what I mean. 25 wounded warriors in the fall in October. Last year we had 13, and that's how many they gave. So, and we didn't know how many they were needing, and we were just getting started. So they'll all be used, and they'll all be loved, and they will be deeply, deeply appreciated and treated like a treasure. So I encourage you to just think about that and give to whichever organization, whether it's one or whether you get a group of your friends together and once every quarter you have or month or whatever, have a sew day just to make donation quilts. I would also venture to guess that there's a long arm quilter in your area that would long arm quilt for you. For charity purposes, there are about 6 of us in the Christian Quilt Guild here in Tyler. And when we get quilts in, we just send them to the different quilters. And we all have businesses and we all do other stuff, but we work them in as we can. So, and we don't charge anybody to quilt the donation quilts because, of course, we're just trying to be the hands and feet of the Lord. Okay, so I guess on that note we will end. Unless y'all have any questions, these sizes are always here if you ever have questions. Also, one last thing. The Christian Quilt Guild is a 501c3, and we have one of our friends who moved to Phoenix who is wanting to get her friends together and eventually start a chapter out there. We are more than excited to hear from anybody that wants to start your own group, your own Christian Quilt Guild in your area. There are other quilt organizations that there's one umbrella organization and then you become a 501c3 under their designation. So if that is something you're interested in, certainly reach out to me because we will certainly go there. And, you know, we're not big into rules. So we have a few little things, but other than that, not much. It's not hard. Okay, so we are at the part of the Monday, Marvelous Monday. Make it a Marvelous Monday time, where I'm going to read one of my writings that I've written recently. So, if indeed this is not your cup of tea and this is not something that blesses you, feel free to pop off, but know that you are prayed for and have a blessed week. But if you choose to stay, I would love to read you this little thing I wrote. I wrote it earlier this month, and it's called Boaz. So here we go. Have I told y'all that Doug's nickname among my friends is Boaz? It really is. Because one time my Christian Quilt Guild friends and I were at a retreat at a place where we had never been before. Take my word for it. Check out all facilities before you decide to stay for the weekend. Friday evening came, and it was the first evening, and we were told that a man lived in an apartment on the lower floor where we were meeting. Wait, what? We were so confused. We would never have booked that facility had we known there's a man living there. We never did see him, though, so that was a good thing. We were not told that the building did not have locks on the exterior doors. We would not have booked. We were not told that the oven in the kitchen was not working. We would not have cooked. Alas, there we were. So we stayed. We bunked two to a room for safety and locked the room doors, so we locked the sewing room doors so we felt better about our machines and our supplies. However, around 2:30 in the morning, a loud pickup truck pulled up to the house. The front door opened. Someone stomped in, stomped up the stairs all the way to the room where Angie and I were sleeping in bunk beds. I was on the bottom of one bunk bed and she was on the other side of the room. And here's the door. And so I was behind the door, but she wasn't. Oh, my word. And I heard a man say, "Oh, man, this room is already taken." And then I heard him stomp and clomp down the stairs and out the door. Well, the next morning we were talking about it and we were piecing it together what had happened. And we realized that that strange man had entered the building and all the way up to our room. So we had a choice to make. We could either pack up and go home and miss the Saturday, sewing day, or I would call Doug. So we all decided to call Doug. So I called Doug and I told him exactly what had happened. And without my ever even asking, he volunteered to come out to watch over us. He finished up what he was doing at home. And as I remember correctly, and I'm looking straight at him, I think it was laundry. He's shaking his head. He was doing his laundry. And he drove out to the retreat. He arrived after lunch, and then he guarded us all afternoon and all evening. He spent the night. Now, Angie moved to a different room so Doug could have her bunk. And then the next morning, he helped load up our cars and helped us get ready to go home. Because he came to our rescue, Sandra named him Boaz. He is still our guardian sheepdog, protecting the flock of women, or, as my dad would say, who is 92, almost 93, my dad would say he was protecting the hens. My friends still call him Boaz. And on the day I wrote this, our daily dose of scripture was the whole book of Ruth. It's a fast 4 chapters, and it is a precious story. A broken-hearted woman and her broken-hearted daughter-in-law sticking together. A kind, gentle, caring man named Boaz looking out for their best interest. When they meet, Boaz prayed for her. And I'm talking about Ruth. And offered these words of blessings. May the Lord repay you for what you have done. May you be richly rewarded by the Lord, the God of Israel, under whose wings you have come to take refuge. That's in Ruth 2:12. Boaz did all the right things. He went to the city gate. He talked to the closest next of kin. He offered that man the land and Ruth, and the anonymous man refused the offer. And Boaz made sure all the dealings were lawful and honest and above board. And I even read a commentary that said the message of the book of Ruth is God cares for the needy, like Naomi and Ruth in their brokenheartedness. God rewards people who demonstrate sacrificial love for those in need, like Ruth staying with Naomi, or like Boaz caring for Naomi and Ruth. And thirdly, God's rewards can extend across generations. Oh, how I love this one. Ruth and Boaz had a son named Obed, and Obed had a son named Jesse, and Jesse had a son named David. That was King David. That blessing. May the Lord repay you for what you have done. May you be richly rewarded by the Lord, the God of Israel, under whose wings you have come to take refuge. That's exactly what happened. So let us remember that the needy include the brokenhearted or the frightened. Let us be like Boaz, kind and loving toward them too. Proverbs 14:31 says, "Whoever oppresses the poor shows contempt for their maker, but whoever is kind to the needy honors God." Amen. So that's why we did what we did. The reason I chose this is because we do the donation quilts. If you're interested, if I piqued your interest at all, if you have questions, if you want to know what a pattern is, I do a lot of patterns and give them away free because they're donation patterns. If that's something you're interested in, just email me, Annie@AnnieMcHugs.com, or let me know on Facebook and I'll reach out to you and send you what patterns I do have, because I do have some. But I hope that y'all have a wonderful week. I hope you've had a marvelous Monday. I hope that you continue to have a wonderful week. Oh, and I might as well say for the rest of the month. And I love you and I thank you and I bless you. You have blessed me and I bless you for being here. Y'all have a good one. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.